So I was given an idea today, and it's an idea that I think is a good idea. How do you actually play this game? Like, what do you do on the first night, the first day? You spawn into the world. What do you do? So, you make yourself a world. Call it My World, for example. You're playing in survival. You have structures on. It's a standard world. You're not playing with cheats or with bonus chests. What do we do? Well, that is what we're going to answer. Here and now. Suppose you spawn in and you haven't got a clue what you're going to do. That is where this will come in. This is a tutorial for surviving your first day. So, you spawn in, and the world can be pretty daunting. If you have a look at the map here, look, it's a big old world here. Look at it all. And for a world that's infinitely generating, it does get an awful lot bigger. So what do you do first? Your first priority is to punch the nearest tree. Punch it. And you do this by clicking the left mouse button and holding it. And as you can see, the break marks appear on the wood. Now don't worry, your character's a strong fellow. He can punch down a tree with his own fist. In fact, given enough time, your character can punch down anything, except for bedrock. So once you have your wood, you immediately put it here in the crafting grid, or anywhere, and shift click to turn all of those logs into brand new wooden planks. Then you right click a plank into each box to make your crafting table. Then you put this down anywhere you like, and you can move on to the next stage. You take your planks again with a left click, and you right click, and that gives you some sticks, just like that. Okay? And then you can take your sticks and put one in each, like that. There we go. And then the next task is to take your planks and put one on top, each of the top boxes, just like that. And that gives you your first pickaxe. Now, you can make other tools out of wood, but I would advise you not to do so, as that will be a waste of wood. What you must do now is begin your search, because wooden tools will only get you so far. So the next thing you must do is locate stone. Whilst you are doing so, it can also be handy to pluck at the grass around you and locate seeds, as these can be planted later on and turned into wheat, which you can use to make bread. Keep an eye out for other sources of food. For example, the chicken here. The chicken will lay eggs every so often, which you can use to make more chickens. Also, what you can do is kill the chicken outright, and that will instantly give you access to its meat and feathers, as long as your chicken has meat and feathers to give you, which it should, because it's a chicken. Also on the lookout for caves. Caves, not only a good source of stone, but also of other resources and materials. So do make sure that your eyes are peeled very wide, and that you are using all of your visual senses to locate food or stone. As you see here, we have red mushrooms. Unlike the real world, these mushrooms are safe to eat. Also, unlike the real world, these red mushrooms will not make you grow bigger. It is advised that you gather some of these mushrooms, because you may also encounter brown mushrooms just here, and if you have one of each, this forms your first bit of food. Alternatively, you may have a different first food. It depends entirely upon the world you are given. If you are unfortunate enough to spawn in such a barren place like this, where there does not appear to be any caves whatsoever, make sure that you, first of all, keep track of where your crafting table is, and secondly, that you dig into a hillside somewhere, so that you can firstly get stone, and secondly, work out your living accommodation for the evening. because unless you're playing on peaceful, nighttime is a dangerous period of time here in the world of Minecraft. And what's this we have here? Why, it's a cave! And, unfortunately, I have indeed lost my crafting table, which means that you need to make a replacement if you are in a similar place. So there we go. Make yourself a new one, if you need to. Then plonk it down wherever you want. Harvest another tree whilst you're here if you so wish to. Please bear in mind there are several biomes you could spawn in, and each biome provides its own challenges, problems and rewards. So make sure that you explore your biome carefully, and if it does not offer much in the way of resources, places to live, or things to do, move on quickly before night comes. The last thing you need in this game is to be wandering around at night with nowhere to live and no way of defending yourself. So turn those into planks as well, and then you can, if you so wish to, begin your descent into a cave. Now, it is advisable that you pluck away at any stone available until you have enough for a stone pick at the very least, which is made in the same way as our wooden pick was. However, you replace the wooden planks with the cobblestone you are picking up right now. That's it. Now, what I like to do is I like to use up all of the uses in my wooden pick. That way I get the full usage, and also a good amount of stone to use for future projects. However, considering the circumstances, this should be sufficient for now. So, when you have enough stone, return to your crafting table, which may be guarded by what is known as a creeper. It is imperative that you defend yourself, and it does not matter how you do this, just as long as you do it. The recommended method is to use a sword made of either wood or stone. However, as you may notice, in some cases this will not always be possible, so you must use whatever you have to hand. Otherwise, that will happen. Sometimes it will be a mushroom. Sometimes it will be your actual hand. Once any confrontation has cleared, and if you did not have anything to defend yourself with, make yourself a weapon immediately. That way you will be covered for any future danger. Also, if you are getting hungry, make yourself some food. As you can see, I have mushrooms, so I will arrange my wooden planks in a V shape like this to make bowls, and then place a red mushroom and a brown mushroom in the crafting grid. The order doesn't matter, because then you have some lovely mushroom soup, and you even get to keep the bowl. Now, the reason why we have come up here is to use our stone. First of all, you want to arrange the stone in a box around the outside of the crafting grid, and this will make you a furnace. So place this furnace anywhere you want to. Also, use this time to make some better tools. For example, here I'm going to make a stone pick, which is made like that, and a shovel, which is made like that. Okay? Whoa! Always be on the lookout for danger. If you hear footsteps, and they're not yours, always look around, as it may be one of these fellows. Most mobs make an idle noise, so you'll be able to tell when they're near. Like the chickens, for example. They cluck, however creepers do not. Their only giveaway is the fact that they have footsteps. So if you hear footsteps, always look around hurriedly, as it might be the last chance you have to defend yourself from certain death. What we are doing here is we are gathering another tree, and this is for a simple reason, because with this tree we are going to make fuel. Sadly, we are not in a fortunate position, because there does not appear to be a supply of coal nearby, which means we must make our own. In order to do this, we need our furnace, these logs, and some planks. You put the logs in the top half, and the planks in the bottom half, just like that. These will cook the logs like this and produce something called charcoal. And it is important because when you put a stick and a bit of charcoal together, you can make torches, which you can use to light your way through the dark caves below. It is also important because charcoal and coal, the two are interchangeable, is used to cook items later on, such as iron ore and food. There is an egg over here which I heard pop from this chicken. Make sure you grab eggs from chickens if they happen to be nearby, as this can be a very good source of food once you get a farm up and running. How you would do this is of course entirely up to you. By this point the sun should be setting, and if that's the case, you will need to find somewhere to spend the night. Otherwise, things could get very dangerous very quickly. So, gather up your tools and supplies, and find somewhere to live. I like to live in caves, personally, because all the hard work has been done. However, there is of course nothing wrong with spending your first night in a hole in the ground, if that is all that you have available. For example, all you need to do here is just cover up the rest of the hole like this, and you have a perfectly functioning house for the night. Also, if you need to, you can just dig down 3 blocks, just like that, put one over the top, and a torch, and this can be your home for the night. It will be safe and secure from all of the nasties. However, we are going to move into a cave, because that is better. You can do more whilst it is night, and also you stand a chance of finding resources that you can use to further your progress in this strange world. Now, remember these creatures. They are dangerous, so make sure you dispatch of them as soon as possible and as safely as possible. If you want to do extra damage, jump at them and hit them on the way down. That way you will perform a critical hit. Those sparks there indicate a critical hit, so you will know if you have been successful. Sometimes the danger will be far too much, and all you need to do is just tank the hit. And in scenarios such as this, that's okay. It's okay to take a hit and demonstrate your bravery. In order to do that, make sure you have your sword equipped and hold right click to block. This can greatly reduce the amount of damage you take, and will therefore be a very handy lifesaver. So as you can see, we're moving deeper into the cave now. These slightly peach-coloured blocks here are iron ore. In order to harvest iron, you need a stone pickaxe. Wooden pickaxes will not harvest iron, so make sure you have one available, and then just proceed to dig it out in the same way as you would with a tree or anything else. There we go. Now, I also happened to notice that over this way, just here, we have a water spring. If you want to, you can keep it there, but I like to block these up as it makes negotiating caves much easier. As the water disappears, we have some coal here, which is very handy. So a wooden pick can be used for these. Stone picks are faster than wooden picks. However, I like to use the wooden one here, just so that it burns up and it's not clogging up my inventory. However, beyond that, my personal choice is with stone tools, because in the world of Minecraft, stone is the most abundant material, and when you break stone you get cobblestone, which you use to make your stone picks. So therefore, if you keep using stone items, you will always get more stone, and therefore you will never run out. However, with certain ores, such as gold, redstone and diamonds, you do need an iron pick, and that is made in the same way as the other picks, but you would melt down the iron that you have discovered on your travels, and then craft the iron ingots that would give into a pick. And there we go. So we plant a torch there. The hostile monsters of the world of Minecraft spawn in darkness, and there is a specific area that they spawn in. If you press shift and F3, you will bring up a overlay thing that looks like this. Now, there is a section over on the left of the screen where at the moment it says LC79 Tiger BL12 SL0 RL12. The BL12 is what we're interested in here because that is the block light level. So that is what light level it currently is at the block I'm stood on. You'll notice as I move into darker areas the number goes down, and as I move into lighter areas the number goes up and fluctuates. Nearer to the torch is 14, further away is 11. Mobs and all the monsters of the game spawn at light levels 7 and below. So if you need a bit of guidance, bring up this overlay and have a look at what the number is. As you can see, it is 7 here, so a monster could spawn in here at a later date. If we want to avoid that, then we just put a torch up and that will solve the problem to a degree, because then they will just spawn in a different dark area, such as down here. Now that means the pick has broken, as you can tell, so then we just replace it with another pick from our inventory. Try to always have spare tools of every kind on you, just in case. It often makes things a lot easier, and if you're in danger, it can be a lifesaver as well, especially if you have multiple swords. So this is how you may spend your first night in a cave. Also, it is possible to spend it in a hole underground, in which case you will just be stood there until morning. The other way to do it is, of course, to just stay on the surface and attempt to what I like to call rough it, i.e. just stay up there and kill the mobs as and when you need to. There are other ways, of course. This is just the way that I survive the night. If you're fortunate, you may have spawned near some sheep, and this will be good because you can make a bed. Now, in order to make a bed, you would need the crafting table here, and you will need to put 3 planks in a row like this, and then 3 blocks of wool in the squares above it. And that will allow you to make a bed, which you can use to sleep in until morning, and that will also set your spawn. So if you are unfortunate enough to die, you will respawn in the world from where you last slept, rather than from where you started your adventure in this world. Always keep an eye out when you are walking around caves, as you never know where danger could spring from. It can often be somewhere that seems incredibly innocent, but unfortunately turns very hostile very quickly. Minecraft days last about 10 minutes, and so do the night times. So each day and night cycle takes roughly about 20 minutes. Therefore, if you're good at timekeeping, what you can do is you can keep an eye on the amount of time you've been in the sun in Minecraft, and then you'll be able to gauge how much sunlight you have left, which can be handy before undertaking a major project or something similar. The alternative to doing this is, of course, to just watch the sun or the moon in the sky, as this will give you a fairly good indication. If it's directly above you, it's midday or midnight. If it's a lot further towards one horizon, then it's nearer to morning or evening, depending on the side of the horizon that it's going, the direction the sun's travelling, I should say, and of course whether the preceding time has been morning or night. Okay. Try to explore caves as thoroughly as possible, and keep an eye for shelves like this above you, as it is very possible, especially in future patches where creepers are being made much cleverer, for monsters to jump down on top of you and cause damage. And that is not good, partly because it causes you damage, but also because it can be a very nasty shock to the system. Sometimes you might encounter things like this, where sand has fallen in and ice sheets have formed above. This will of course only happen in ice biomes, but it's a nice little feature nonetheless. Oh, haha, forgot about that. When you break ice, it makes water. But, as you will notice, if we swim up here, it's morning. The sun is rising over those trees there, and we have survived our first day here in Minecraft. So, if that's not worth a cheer, I don't know what is. Unfortunately, those eggs did not have any chickens in them, which is a shame because we are in need of food. Food can be eaten raw. You can eat chicken raw. It's not very good for you. It has a chance of poisoning you, but it can be eaten raw in a pinch. Pigs drop pork here, which can be eaten raw completely safely, so do not hesitate to eat a raw pork chop if you need to. You can also eat beef raw, and that will do the same thing. Eating zombie meat or raw chicken has a chance of giving you food poisoning, which means you get hungrier quicker, whilst eating spider eyes poisons your health and will therefore heal your hunger but dwindle your health. And I think that pretty much concludes this tutorial on surviving your first day. It should be noted that the mini-map in the corner and the big map that I brought up just then are not part of standard Minecraft gameplay. Those are mods, so if you don't have those on your version of the game, that's not a problem. The phone is ringing. I will be right back to sign off properly. Okay, that is that. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this somewhat informative. Please feel free to leave comments in the section below about things you would like to see or do or whatever. And that's pretty much it. If you have input or, like I say, comments and things, do leave them in the comment section below. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Feel free to watch the other series as well. We have a whole bunch of excellent Minecraft stuff going on. We've got the custom maps, we've got the main LP, we've got other tutorials, and there's a whole heap of stuff which is absolutely fantastic and absolutely everybody should watch and enjoy and be fruitful and lovely with. That's right. So thanks for watching once again, everyone. It's been a real honor, a privilege, and I hope you all have a nice day enjoying and doing whatever it is you happen to be doing with the rest of your day. Okay? Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.